Today we're going to talk about the common mind traps that cause us to get stuck in a cycle of self-doubt and how we can break that cycle to build up our self-belief. So first I want to remind you that our brain's job is to look for things that can hurt us. It's designed to look for the negative. This is how our brain protects us. And it protects us from these uncertain situations where we might get hurt and gets us stuck in our head. It gets us stuck overthinking in order to prevent us from taking any action that our subconscious deems as risky or uncertain, where we might get hurt, where we might fail, where there might be discomfort, or where there might be embarrassment. And with horses, it's inherently risky. There's no way to make it 100% safe. So it's really common for us along our horsemanship journey to overthink and to have self-doubts. Now the good news here is that you can counteract your brain's instincts by understanding that this resistance and avoidance is simply a habit of thought and action. Well, really inaction. And when self-doubt becomes a habit, when it's a cycle and your brain hesitates and gets you to start overthinking, it then stops you from taking action when you need to take action. Then because you didn't take action, you doubt your ability to take action. And because you didn't take action, you obviously weren't successful with whatever it is that you wanted to do, and so you develop more self-doubt. Add in the actions of your horse to this mix, who is at best slightly confused by your mixed signals, and at worst might respond to your self-doubts and hesitation with dangerous behaviors. And then this, of course, leads to more overthinking and more self-doubt the next time that something comes up. And this is a circle that spins around and around and around until you break the self-doubt cycle. And until you break the cycle of self-doubt, you can't achieve self-belief. And self-belief is what leads to self-confidence. So today's lesson, we're going to learn how to recognize and overcome 4 common self-doubt mind traps so that you can banish self-doubt and replace it with self-belief so that you can throw your rope and go after your big dreams. So let's get started. The first self-doubt mind trap is hesitating. And hesitating is triggered by uncertainty. When you don't know 100% what the outcome will be, it is easy to procrastinate. It's easy to say, oh, it's too rainy, it's too cold to ride today, I'm going to ride tomorrow instead. It's easy for us to overthink and to imagine everything that could go wrong. It's easy for us to picture our horse misbehaving. It's easy to put off taking action. It's easy for us to not try to go after our goals until you feel like it's going to go perfectly. It's easy for us to hesitate until you know that you can do that complicated maneuver. It's easy for us to get busy with unrelated tasks like cleaning tacks so that you can avoid riding and working towards your goals. So the first step in overcoming hesitation is awareness. What behaviors do you use when you are feeling self-doubt and hesitating? Does anything that I just described sound familiar? What do you tell yourself to make it okay to hesitate, to make it okay for you to wait to go after your dreams? What do you overthink? What are you waiting to do until you feel more confident? Now, after awareness comes action, and the key here is itty-bitty baby steps. I want you to focus on the little actions that you can do today. Focus on progress, not perfection. What is the next thing that you need to do to move closer to your goals? And it can be super simple and super easy. If your goal, for example, is to lope your horse across the pasture, start small. Maybe your baby step for today is to trot a lap around the arena. And then tomorrow, you might trot a little bit without stirrups to improve your balance. And then the next ride, maybe you trot 2 laps without stirrups. And then the next week, maybe you long trot on the trail with a friend and their quiet horse. And then you build it up until you can lope 1 stride on the trail. And then 2 strides, and so on. And you gradually build step by step, little by little, taking small actions outside of your comfort zone, in your grit zone, until one day you're loping across the pasture. So get out there and do it. Action is the antidote to fear, while hesitation allows self-doubt to grow and fester. So take back your confidence and go after your dreams, one baby step at a time. And that is how you overcome the mind trap of hesitation. Now, the second self-doubt mind trap is hiding. And hiding is triggered by fear and overwhelm. Hiding can occur when our horsemanship goals start to feel too big, leading to us feeling overwhelmed and unable to take steps toward our dreams. It's easy to avoid taking action, procrastinating, and shrinking back from our goals. It's easy to let the fears of being judged by others, of looking foolish, or letting fear of disappointing others cause us to hide behind the scenes and hold ourselves back. Hiding can also appear as playing it small and staying in your comfort zone and shrinking back from opportunities to step it up to the next level. Now, the first step in overcoming hiding is to clearly identify what you are afraid of and then minimize that fear. So what thoughts do you notice when you start talking yourself out of taking action? Is it worry about what others might think or what others might say? Is it fear of disappointing someone or disappointing yourself? Is it feeling like there are too many steps needed to achieve your dream, that it's too difficult and unrealistic, or that it will take too much time and maybe that it isn't worth the effort? Then we need to minimize the fear by asking yourself some tough questions. Why does this fear matter to you? If it is fear of what others might think or say, ask yourself, why does their opinion matter? If it's feeling overwhelmed, what can you do to break your goals down into smaller steps? Then after you've made that plan, the next step in overcoming hiding is awareness. So what do you do when you're hiding from your goals? What do you do instead of working with your horse? Do you spend your free time on Facebook instead of at the barn? Or if you get to the barn, do you spend hours grooming your horse instead of practicing and riding? By being aware of what behaviors you do instead of working towards your goals, when you notice yourself hiding, you can then replace it with action. And that's where we get back to that itty bitty small baby steps towards your goal, like we discussed before. So breaking your goal down into these teeny tiny bite-sized pieces, these little actions that you can do every day, so you can replace your hiding behaviors with productive action. So for example, if you hide from your horsemanship goals by spending your free time in the evening watching TV at home, then plan instead to go straight to the barn after work instead of going into the house and sitting down in your favorite chair. Even if you don't have time to ride, you can still spend 15 minutes doing groundwork with your horse or some other small action towards your goals. Now, the third self-doubt mind trap is hypercritical thinking. And hypercritical thinking is triggered by fear of being hurt, disappointed, or failing, similar to hiding. Hypercritical thinking, though, shows up as complaining, arguing against your dreams, and by being very self-critical. It's easy to spot as being negative when you look for and find flaws and reasons why your horsemanship dreams aren't achievable. You might find yourself fixating on what can go wrong. At its worst, hypercritical thinking can cause you to know what actions you need to take to achieve your goals, but it results in you believing that you can't, that it isn't possible for you, and you only see excuses as to why your dreams aren't able to come true. So the first step in overcoming hypercritical thinking is to identify the excuses you're using to hold yourself back. Is it a lack of time, a lack of money, a lack of belief in your ability to be a better rider? Are you wishing you had a better horse? What kind of excuses do you tend to use? Then once you've identified your excuses, identify what negative outcome you believe is going to happen. Are you afraid that you will fail? Are you afraid you'll be disappointed if you don't achieve your goals? Are you afraid of getting hurt? Next, you're going to eliminate the excuse. What can you do to eliminate this obstacle or negative outcome? Then you're going to make a decision that you're going to commit to giving it your all, giving yourself a chance to prove yourself wrong. So, for example, if you feel like you cannot go on a group trail ride with your friends because you are afraid that they won't think you are a good rider, your choices then are to eliminate the excuse by not going on the trail ride and always riding by yourself when no one can see you. Or option B, you can commit to going on the trail ride. Or option C, you can commit to going on the trail ride and also commit to taking a lesson or riding with a trusted friend to help prepare yourself and prepare your horse for the group ride. Option C is often the best solution for someone who is hypercritical. The key to overcoming being hypercritical is to find a solution instead of just complaining. Remove the excuse and take action. Now, the last self-doubt mind trap we're going to talk about is helplessness. And helplessness is triggered by insecurity or low self-worth. Helplessness can appear as blaming, thinking that nothing ever goes my way, and blaming others for all the outcomes in life. And the helplessness mind trap can cause dependency on others. People that are stuck in this mind trap won't do the work for themselves. They expect others to do the work for them. And then this can lead to a false sense of incompetence and a lack of self-trust. Some might even fear success, fearing that if they were to succeed, that they might lose the support of others. If any of this sounds familiar, the first step in overcoming helplessness is to identify what areas you feel helpless in and what beliefs support the feeling. What do you believe about yourself that makes you feel helpless? Then identify who you are dependent on. However well-intentioned they may be, how do they help you and your horse? Do they fix the problem for you? Do they rescue you? Do they give you advice? Do they affirm your helplessness, keeping you stuck? Then identify what you are afraid of that leads you to stay helpless. What are you afraid of losing? Or other negative consequence that may happen if you were to be more self-sufficient? In what way can you see that the opposite is true and that by taking responsibility that you will gain self-confidence? For example, a rider that I knew wanted to start competing, but knew that that meant she had to move to a training barn. And she feared losing the support and friendship of her current riding buddies who didn't want to compete and preferred to trail ride. However, she was starting to not enjoy trail riding and resenting that her trail riding friends didn't want to work on intricate maneuvers and didn't want to improve their horsemanship for the show pen. So by not going for her dreams, she wasn't being a supportive friend for her trail riding friends. By moving to the training barn and going after her competition goals, she was able to still go on trail rides with her friends and enjoy it as a fun break for herself and her horse. So ask yourself, what steps can you take next to be more self-sufficient and build trust in yourself and your horsemanship journey? And along the way, celebrate your progress. Remember that the actions of confidence come before feelings of confidence, and by taking action. That is the antidote to fear. That is how we overcome the cycle of self-doubt and replace it with self-belief. It takes getting out of our comfort zone and into our grit zone, one teeny tiny baby step at a time. So your challenge for today is to look back and think about those 4 different mind traps and identify which ones happened to you the most. Is there one that really stuck out for you? Are you hesitating? Are you hiding? Are you hypercritical? Are you helpless? And then once you've identified which self-doubt mind trap is the one that you most often get stuck in, then work through the steps that I laid out in the video so that you can overcome that self-doubt mind trap and transform your self-doubt into self-belief.